Excuse me,
Oh,
Laurie.
Mr. Brackett, I'm sorry, Mr. Brackett.
Oh, I didn't mean to startle you.
That's all right.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
Welcome back to the scene of the series, where we go over and crown the top 3 scenes in our favorite horror movie franchises. The bronze scene, the silver scene, and the golden scene. And today we'll be going over one of the most influential horror movie franchises of all time, and that is Friday the 13th. The iconic hockey mask killer has spawned 12 films, including Freddy vs. Jason, and is going to have his TV series premiere in 2026. So get your camp gear ready, pack your lunches, and let's get to the scenes. Scene of the series, Friday the 13th edition. Let's take a look at the original Friday the 13th. One scene that instantly pops in my head is the Kevin Bacon kill scene. One of, if not the most memorable kill in the Friday series. Also one of the best breakfast foods. Moving right along to another memorable scene, that's Pamela's reveal. We go throughout the entire movie trying to figure out who's doing the killing. And when it's revealed that Pamela is the one behind it, we get the backstory of our horror icon, Jason Voorhees. No, Jason Voorhees is not the killer in the original. It was his mother, Mrs. Voorhees, that was the original killer. Jason didn't show up until the sequel. Shout out Ghostface. And the final scene I'm going to discuss is probably the most iconic scene in the whole franchise, and that's Jason jumping out the water attacking Alice at the end. No other notes needed, just simply iconic. Friday the 13th Part 2. I'm gonna start off with Mark's machete to the face, and he rolls down the biggest flight of stairs I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure that's the stairs that Rocky was training on. Now moving along to another scene that's a very important scene in this horror franchise, and that's Pamela's Voorhees shrine. We see Jenny dressing up as Pamela Voorhees, tricking Jason into thinking she's his mother, letting the audience know that there's a way to calm this brutal killer down. And to end Friday the 13th Part 2, we're going with the similar jump scare we see in Part 1, this time Jason's all grown up. The iconic scene where we see Jason jump through the window attacking Jenny, but this time he's all cleaned up. Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D. Off rip, we have to mention Jason's signature look. This is the movie where he spawned his iconic hockey mask. Thank you, Shelly. We see Shelly pranking Vera by the dock, where he jumps out the water, nod to the original, and we see him wearing the mask. Specifically this one. And the next time we see that mask, it's the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Voorhees wearing it. We meet our iconic killer wearing his signature outfit, killing Vera in the process, where he nonchalantly walks off after a successful mission. And honestly, I think a lot of the most memorable moments in this movie is probably its kills, and I'm gonna leave that to James A. Janice. Next scene, I wouldn't say it's iconic, but it's very popular among the Friday fandom, and that is the excellent acting of Chili finding the bodies. Now, if that's not Oscar worthy, I don't know what to tell you. And to end Friday the 13th Part 3, I'm mentioning the ending again. We get to see what's under the mask. Jason's showing us how much of a handsome boy he is. Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Now, this is one of my favorite Friday movies, but if I'm being honest, I don't think there are many iconic moments in this one, simply because we've seen a lot of these scenes already in the previous 3. Now, I do think there are some really cool deaths in this movie, but as I said before, we're gonna leave that to dead meat. But the one scene that I immediately think of is young Tommy killing Jason. Yes, Jason is killed in this scene, and we get our badass final boy Tommy Jarvis, which is a bonus. Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Great side characters, but just like the previous film, I don't think there are many iconic moments in this one. Again, we just see so much of this stuff already throughout the previous 4 films, which is going to be a problem you run into if you create a mega franchise like Friday the 13th. Now, some would argue that this is not an iconic moment, but I think it's worth mentioning, and that's the reveal that Roy Burns is the copycat Jason. Yes, this film, Jason Voorhees is not the killer, and that's why I say some would say it's not iconic and just stupid. But hey, what are you gonna do? Moving on to Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Now, this is my personal favorite Friday movie, and right off the bat, we're going to talk about the opening scene, where we are introduced to Zombie Jason, and he gives us that iconic 0013 opening, Jason Bond. Now, I think I speak for a lot of horror fans here when I say another iconic scene is the I think we're dead meat.
Real dead meat.
If you couldn't tell, my biggest inspiration for my own YouTube channel is because of Dead Meat, the king and queen of horror YouTube. James and Chelsea are prime examples of how to carry yourself not only as a horror fan, but as a person in general. I have nothing but love and respect for those two, which is why I think this scene is iconic. It gave us the iconic intro to Dead Meat, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of people when I say that. Alright, let me stop fangirling. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. We got the fan favorite Jason Voorhees, Kane Hodder. Thank you, Tina, for awakening Kane Hodder. I mean Jason Hodder. I mean Jason Voorhees. This is the first film where we have Kane Hodder wearing the hockey mask in one of the coolest Jason designs. And this is the movie where we get the most iconic kill, to me personally, and that's the sleeping bag kill. Jason slashes through the tent to grab Judy, where he zips her up in a sleeping bag and slams her against a tree. I guess that's definitely not the tree of life, am I right? And to end Part 7, I think the ending of Part 7 has to be mentioned. Most fans call it Carrie versus Jason, which is pretty much what it is. And I think this is where people fell in love with Kane Hodder as Jason. Willing to do his own stunts, getting the shit kicked out of him, and giving us these little emotes which are iconic to the Jason character today. Small example like the deep breaths that he takes. That's very iconic to that Jason Voorhees character, and it's from Kane Hodder. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Not too many great scenes in this one, but it does have one of the most iconic kills. And that's the rooftop scene with the boxer Julius. Julius is hitting Jason with left and rights. Jason tires him out and shows him how it's done in an awesome decapitation scene. And another scene I think worth mentioning is Jason in Times Square. It's simply just an iconic shot. Just don't play no shitty music around Jason. Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. And just like that, we're back with the opening scenes being mentioned. We think we're following just another nude lady becoming another victim of Jason, but turns out she was baiting Jason to follow her, where he took more shots than an alcoholic on New Year's. I'm joking. Next scene is the body melt scene. One of the best melting scenes I've ever seen. It's just so gooey and gross. And the final scene, we see that hockey mask sitting in the dirt, where all of a sudden we see a Freddy glove pop out that dirt, bringing that hockey mask to hell, preparing us for the biggest horror crossover of all time, Freddy vs. Jason. And boy, do I wish I was old enough to see that marketing. I really want to know just how big that was. Jason X. Now, I have two iconic scenes in this movie, and the first one, to me, is the greatest kill in the Friday series, and that is the face smash scene. Nothing more needs to be said. If you know, you know. I think this is a very popular kill among the Friday fandom. And the second scene is the introduction of Uber Jason. The whole battle between KM and Jason was simply awesome, and we then see Evil getting an upgrade. Next up, Freddy vs. Jason. Honestly, only one scene comes to mind, and that's the whole final battle between Freddy and Jason on the dock. And I don't care what anyone says. When it was between Freddy and Jason, Freddy won the fight. And when people say Jason won, nah, it's actually Laurie that won. It's bloody, it's gory, it's what us horror fans wanted. Friday the 13th, 2009. Guess what, people? The opening scene. One of the best opening scenes in horror film history. And it comes from a remake. We've obviously seen Jason run around and use gadgets before, but not as menacing and swiftly as this. And there's a reason why many believe that this film is not only better than the original, but the best in the franchise. And that's the Friday the 13th franchise, giving us not only iconic kills, but super memorable and important scenes for horror history, and it obviously gave us the horror icon that is Jason. Now it's time for the hard part. Let's see which 3 scenes are taking home medals. In third place, taking the bronze medal, I'm going with the opening to Friday the 13th, 2009. It set the tone for the whole movie, showing fans, if done right, remakes can be better and more entertaining than the original. In second place, taking the silver medal, is the ending of Friday the 13th. The first time we see our dirty little lake boy in an awesome jump scare to end the movie. And taking the gold medal, I'm going with Friday the 13th, the Jason reveal. I mean, do I really have to explain myself? The design became iconic and it's how we all remember Jason today. Thank you, Shelly, for your service. So those are my top 3 scenes from the Friday the 13th series. If there's any scenes that you think I forgot that are worth mentioning, or if you think there's any scenes that deserve a medal, just let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this little camp trip I took you on, and I do truly appreciate it if you made it to the end. Stay tuned for more scene of the series. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.